Hi everybody, welcome to Food Buddha. My name is Talia, and if I don't know you, I am a mentor coach for women who want to up-level their life, mind, body, and soul. So I work with women who want to shed their stuff so they can move into the life that they truly want. Welcome. Today I'm talking about spiritual nutrition, and this is something I've never talked about live before, but as the interest grows and as I grow and change, I feel more comfortable talking about this and see that there are a lot of you that are really interested. So thank you for joining me today. I'm excited to talk a little bit about spiritual nutrition. So first of all, I'd like to explain what I mean by that. What I basically mean is eating in a way that's in alignment with your highest self. Eating in a way that's in alignment with your soul. And I'll explain more as I go on. Hi, Veronica. I'll explain more as I go on what exactly that means. But it's eating for a deeper connection. It's really the conscious way of eating, being kind to your mind, your body, and your soul, and eating in a way that reflects that. It deepens your spiritual connection and your connection to this earth and the universe. So I'm excited to teach you a little bit about that today. So first, I just wanted to start by saying absolutely there are foods that connect you to nature, connect you to source, connect you to this universe. Eating is about a lot more than the superficial thing that we usually treat it as. We usually eat fast. It's not very mindful. We eat as a reaction to cravings. We control our eating with diets and things like that. And it's all up here. It's all in our mind. A lot of us are eating coming from a mind, coming from a controlled place. And spiritual eating is the opposite. It's coming from a place of your highest self, of the highest powers. And I'm really excited to show you what I mean by that. So, as I just mentioned, foods connect you to nature. That is, some foods bring you away from that natural source, and some foods move you to it. So nature is manifested source. Nature is something that humans did not create. This universe created. Whatever the force is that is growing your fingernails and growing the trees, that's what nature is created by. We get healed when we're in nature. Our thoughts are different when we're in nature. When we're taking a hike or our bare feet are on the ground, there is something very healing about nature. It is source in its purest form. There are many, many, many spiritual tribes and practices and belief systems and cultures, from as far as we've documented history until now, that use nature as a fundamental part of their spiritual journey. They either go on vision quests, or they live in nature, or they heal from nature, or they do ceremonies around nature. It's just a huge part of the spiritual connection. But in this mostly Western world and in these new times, a lot of us have moved away from the deeper meaning in life. And I'm not just talking about what God you believe in. I'm just talking about a feeling of connectedness, a feeling of love, of gratitude, of compassion. As a whole, we've started moving away from that, or we have been moving away from it for a long time. But thankfully, there's a shift happening that you are part of. If you're watching this, if you're watching anything called Food Buddha, anything called spiritual nutrition, you are part of this shift, and it's massive. It's going on all around us. So what better time to learn about this stuff and get back to what we do know way back in our being, but we've just maybe forgotten. So food absolutely connects you to nature, which is source. And some food, as I mentioned, draws you away from that source and other pulls you to it. So foods contain different vibrations. Oh, hello, Vela? Vela? Is that Vela Christina? Thank you. Hi. So foods contain vibrations. And on that note, everything contains vibrations. Everything from this mug to these rings to me to the clouds to a whale to you to a desk to a computer, everything is holding a vibration. In science, they teach us that everything's made of atoms. Atoms are moving at a very, very, very quick pace. And you learned about what makes something a liquid or solid. It depends on how far the atoms are spaced and how fast they're moving, and all of that will determine the state of it. But even within things that are solids, of course, there's a vibration happening. And I'm sure you know about that. Everything is made of energy. Everything is vibrating. So now, when we look at ourselves, we, even as humans, vibrate at different frequencies. We might be in the same range, but each person is vibrating at a slightly different frequency. And when you're in different moods and different states of mind, you are vibrating at a different frequency. So I want you to think about a time when you've been really excited and it's just like you're bouncing off the walls, like you just can't wait and you just can't stay still. It is literally you high vibe. So when we're talking about high vibing, it's when you're in an up state, when you're in a happy state, a blissful state, and you can get higher and higher vibration when you're like, literally, people say bouncing off the walls. And when you're feeling the opposite of that, when you're feeling low, when you're feeling sad, you go into a low vibration state. And so even within the low vibrations, there's lower and lowest. And so emotions like being fearful or resentment, there's a lot of emotions that are low vibe. But as you get lower, guilt and shame are one of the lowest vibrations. Hi, Angela. So guilt, shame, one of the lowest vibrations. And then, as I mentioned just a minute ago, being so excited, joyful, blissful, and gratitude, excited is one of the highest vibrations. So we all vibrate at different frequencies, and so do foods. And so this is amazing. This may blow your mind if you're ready to receive it. When we eat food that is at a similar vibration to what we are vibrating at, it will feel natural. It will more or less work in our body. This is why when you're feeling low, or when just for example, me, when I look back at times when I was less happy in my life, I ate worse food. You would say bad foods, just processed, lots of sugars, lots of, unhealthy fats and everything in bags and everything, whatever. And it didn't feel digestively off. Hi, Christine. I could eat all that food and I didn't really notice a difference within my body that much. Like I didn't feel great, but now when I eat something that is on the really sort of processed spectrum, my stomach actually hurts. I didn't used to feel that. So back to vibration. The vibration of that food that I was eating that's more processed or more sugars, unhealthy sugars and healthy fats, whatever, it matched my low vibration in life. So it kind of worked. It doesn't mean it's healthy. It doesn't mean that it feels good, but it's a vibrational match. So as you get feeling better, you're naturally motivated to eat better foods. And this is the mind-blowing part. That's why when we get into a momentum of either we're working out, we're drinking lots of water, or we do a cleanse and our cravings literally start changing, the food that we want starts changing, which is why people can be vegan. And it's not like they're depriving themselves. It's like they just naturally got to that state where that's where they're vibrating at. So as we feel better, we are called to the foods that have a higher vibration. And this is where we get into the area of spiritual nutrition. It's super cool. As we are vibrating high, we're feeling good. We are now starting to vibrate at the same vibration as source, as nature, as the earth, as healing, as joy, as love. And then we're naturally only drawn to foods that vibrate at that high level, which is, again, why when you're feeling really great, you start not wanting those foods that you used to eat. You start legitimately, it's not like you're trying to deprive yourself. And there might be some time in between where you're breaking away and you might have a craving and all that stuff, of course. But once you're you've got yourself steady at a higher vibration in life. Things are working out. Doors are opening. Your mindset is getting stronger and stronger. You're falling more in love with yourself. You naturally start eating better food. And this is where you get into the territory of eating for spiritual health or enlightenment or just basically spiritual nutrition. As you start feeling better and you start eating more of these high vibrating foods, it's like, again, a momentum that comes, and now you're just a part of it. Now it's not hard anymore. Now it's just a shift. You don't have to try so hard. You don't have to fight it and have cravings and deprivation and all this stuff, because you've naturally raised your vibration and started eating foods that match that new vibration. I don't know if that blows your mind. Let me know if this is interesting to you, because this stuff, it lights me up and I experiment with it all the time. And it changes your life when you really start realizing that if you start choosing better feeling thoughts and eating a little bit more high vibe foods, you will start a spiritual momentum and your life will change. So my next point is I wanted to just let you know how when you start eating, start paying attention to spiritual nutrition and easing into it, which I'd love to show you how to do this step by step. I have a masterclass I'm running in a couple weeks exactly about this. It's going to be a lot more in depth, and I'll take you through it step by step. But the things that you can do as you get into eating spiritually, what happens is your mind starts being a lot quieter. So that allows you to actually be dealing with stress better, not so based in reaction, not as much in fear, because you just have a quieter mind. You're less overwhelmed. You're less confused in life. Wouldn't that be amazing? That can happen by just paying attention to spiritual nutrition. And it's not going to be hard to get there. It's just going to be a bit of a practice. And that's what we all are. But it's rapid. Once you start, like I mentioned, the momentum, you start eating these foods and start raising your vibe and feeling better, it just takes you over, and now this is your new life. And it's not that hard. It really isn't. These foods are meant for us and feel good. I'm just going to read here. Pretty amazing. Trying to practice self-love and choosing more natural foods. Amazing. And you're on the right path. You're doing great. That's amazing. Veronica has a light bulb. So the other thing that eating this way does is it enhances your intuition. This is the stuff that I get super nutty about because I'm just such a geek for intuition. It's incredible. It's changed my life. It guides me all the time in everything I do now. And I'm just so excited and geeky about sharing this stuff with you. So by eating this way, you start to enhance your intuition. Why? Because you're now, remember the vibration, you're starting to vibrate at the frequency of this universe, of nature, of love, of gratitude. And that lowers your resistance. So that lowers your fear, lowers your ego and all that stuff. By eating this way, you enhance your intuition, which lowers your resistance to feeling good. I hope that makes sense to you. That's getting a little advanced, but maybe you're right on board with that stuff. So by enhancing our intuition, we start to hear guidance more clearly. We start to have a really strong gut feeling. And when you learn to listen to that, your life will never be the same. It dramatically changes. Intuition is the shit. It's the only way I live my life now. So by eating this way and eating spiritually and paying attention to the vibration of foods and incorporating more high vibration foods into your diet, you actually enhance your intuition, which is super cool. That helps you take care of yourself. That helps you to reach your goals with weight loss or abundance or anything that you have going on in your life. It helps to get you there faster, more peaceful, and in a way that just works. So eating this way enhances your intuition. Your mind is blown. Yes, Veronica, I love this. So the next thing that it does, eating this way, spiritual nutrition, is it helps to even out your moods. Because you have a quieter mind, everything is less dramatic. So you're just feeling better. And when things come into life that would naturally trigger you, make you feel alone or rejected or not smart enough or not, pretty enough or whatever it is, you'll notice that it just won't have as much of an impact with you. Why? Because you've got the power of the universe inside of you. That's why. And you start to realize that this stuff doesn't mean anything about you. So truly, picking these foods makes a massive impact in your life. And I'm going to post the link underneath to the information about the mastermind class in a couple weeks, all about this, because I will go in depth more and more and more. I just don't have the time right now to like lay it all out for you, but I'm stoked that I'm here, can do this much. So the next thing it'll do, eating this way, is help to even out your blood sugar, because you're picking more foods that naturally gel with your body. It's like a click. It's like these foods were meant for your body because they were, and it really helps to even out the blood sugar, which, as you probably know, helps with cravings, helps with moods, helps with even things like anxiety and depression and rest, sleeping better. When your blood sugar's all off, often you have broken sleep or it's hard to get to sleep. So that's another thing. This is where it gets super cool. It actually increases your compassion, because as you start to vibrate with the frequency of the universe, and as you start to vibrate with the frequency of who you truly are, you become who you truly are. And who you truly are is compassionate. We are all truly compassionate and based and from love. It's just that we've lost our way sometimes, and sometimes we forget to be compassionate. It's not available to us because we've been hurt, and that's not the first thing that comes to our mind. Our first thing is a reaction or anger or fear or something. But eating this way aligns you with your source, aligns you with the truest part of who you are, and everything else melts away. All the crap is no longer needed because you're literally above it. You are literally above the crap that you may be dealing with right now or have dealt with in the past. You're above it. You're vibrating higher than it. It cannot penetrate you anymore in the way that it used to. So that's another thing it does, is it increases your compassion. And I think on this planet, that is the single most important thing that we need. Compassion is based in love, but compassion for our fellow humans, for this earth, for the animals, for the water, for all of that. If we had compassion coming from the forefront, if we all paid attention to the foods we were eating and aligned with our highest self in that way and enhanced our spiritual connection, this planet would change. So that is one of the most profound things that you could do, is to enhance your compassion, and eating this way does that. The next thing it does, I already mentioned, but it eliminates cravings, because again, you're vibrating at a totally different frequency than, oh, I really need this. Oh, I can't have this. Oh, I binged on this. Oh, I did that. And believe me, I lived in that for so long. So I'm in no way making fun of it or treating it like it's small. It's a big deal. It's a big struggle. But eating this way will take you out of that. You will no longer have cravings in the way that you do. You might be drawn to things like, oh, I could really go for that curry I had the other night again, or I really want some dark chocolate or a cup of coffee. But it's not the same as these cravings that control you and make you almost feel powerless to them. They will not just be reduced, they will be gone. I've lived it. I've read about it, I've studied it, but I've lived it, and I know that that's the truth. And the last thing there's millions of things, but the last thing I wrote down about spiritual nutrition and what it actually does for us is it makes weight loss easy. Because again, disclaimer, it makes weight loss easy if your body would be healthier with less weight. I'm not saying, like, if you're at a healthy weight or you're, on the thin side, it may not cause you to dramatically lose weight because your body doesn't want to. It's going to get to its natural resting point. But if weight is something that your body would, function a little bit better if you had less of it, then spiritual nutrition and eating a spiritual diet definitely will do that for you. And not just once you 100% get there. It's just taking the steps to get there. That will start the weight loss. Our body wants to release it. So this way of eating is absolutely going to change your body. It just change your mind, change your body. That's what happens. So the next part of spiritual nutrition that I really want to mention with caution, and I'm going to trust in the way that you're going to hear this and know that I'm not advocating to go on any kind of diet rules, but eating less food has more of an impact. So I am not saying how many calories you should eat, or that you should eat less food because food is bad or fat is bad or calories are bad. That's not what I'm saying. But when we eat a little bit less food and we get in touch with our natural rhythm, our body has more energy for other things like detoxifying and like healing and that sort of thing. So as we move into a spiritual diet and start adapting more spiritual principles into our food, we notice we eat less naturally. Again, it's not a diet thing. I'm not telling you to cut calories. That is just what naturally happens because we're eating in rhythm with our body instead of just, impulse eating in the form of binges or cravings or high fat, high sugar, high salt, high chemical, all that stuff. We start eating less because less is more. We don't need that much food to thrive. Of course, we need to eat enough to have our body functions and to have enough energy, but we notice that we start to eat less naturally. And the next part of this is the last part before I go, but the next thing that we can do under the umbrella of spiritual nutrition is to start to bring mindful practices to your food. And this isn't coming from a diet saying to, chew this many times or wait a minute between bites because then you'll eat less calories. I'm actually saying blessing the food in whatever way feels awesome for you. So what I think, this is really powerful, and I really hope that this resonates with you. Intention trumps anything. When you're eating, your intention is going to trump anything else, meaning even it changes the way your body handles the food. So often we're disconnected from why we're eating. You could tell me I'm hungry or I'm bored or I don't know because it's noon or because I went to a dinner and that's what was there or whatever. But just think, what is the purpose of you eating this food? When you sit down to your next meal, your dinner, something, just look at it. And there's no judgment. It's not good or bad. I'm not critiquing anything. Just think, what is the purpose of eating this? And it could go something like this. Right now I'm hungry. I can feel that my body needs food. So the purpose of eating this food is to give my body fuel. It's so that my body will not need to be so hungry and will have enough energy to carry out the rest of my day. And the more you do that, the more, and it doesn't matter what you're eating. This isn't just if you're eating a kale salad. Whatever you're eating, think, why am I eating this? This is a really unique mindful practice that is really, really effective. So you think, I'm eating this, think of breakfast, perfect. I'm eating this to start my body for the day so that I have enough energy to go from task to task or to go to work and so that my brain can get going and my body can get going, and that's why I'm eating this meal. Think of the intention behind what you're eating. That brings a spiritual element, a highest self, a connection to something greater, a connection to gratitude, a connection to intention. It brings that to your food. And then think the next thing you can think. I always think these two things when I eat. The next thing is, what do you want this food to do for you? So I will look at my food and I will say to it out loud or in my head, depending on who I'm with, my intention is for this food to heal, nourish, and nurture my body. I want this food to go in and work with my body, give it the energy it needs, and help it to detoxify, have energy, pump my blood, run my organs, and just overall to give it fuel for what it needs. It can be that simple. That wasn't even very eloquent. You can think of something probably more beautiful. So what I'm going to recommend you do is these two mindful practices. Think about why you're eating. My purpose here is to, refuel my body because I feel that it's hungry. I have heard the grumbles. I feel the lightheadedness or the hunger cues. My intention, why I'm eating, is because I'm hungry and I'm giving myself nutrition, sustenance. And then what do you want it to do for you? I pray or I intend for this food to heal my body. I have back pain. So often I'll say, I want this food to work as an anti-inflammatory to help me with my back pain. I know it sounds crazy, but this is this next level stuff. And you will notice that your intention will trump it all. If we're just mindlessly eating and not paying attention, what it does in our body is just dependent on our mood and dependent on what's in it and kind of up for grabs. I don't know, kind of random. But when we give it that intention, that is what it's going to do in our body. So no matter what you're eating, tell your food, say, I am eating because I love my body and I'm giving it nutrition. And my hope is for me to continue to be able to lose weight easily, for this food to nourish my body and have the vitamins and the minerals go to where's needed. You know, you can say whatever lights you up. So once again, I'm doing a masterclass, which is going to be like a full-on training session, lots of materials included, in about 2 weeks. I'm going to post the link below, all about spiritual nutrition. You're going to get lists of foods, direction with meal building and recipes and how to integrate and all this stuff. I'll put the link below if you're interested in this. Thank you so much for tuning in. If this interested you, maybe just give me a thumbs up so I know that you guys are digging this stuff. This is incredible. You have the power to change your life. You have the power to change your body. The only problem is that you might not know that you do have that power. So I'm going to encourage you to take this stuff on. Next level this stuff. You are ready. You are incredible. You are a seeker, and we need you. We need you. So good job. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll see you soon.